Tough love, everyone. Ilo noa, Norie Ape. There's been as much Samoan as I know, and you now know a little bit more as well. So I'll be talking about, obviously, building cognitively diverse teams. I'll talk a bit about myself, my upbringing, how that kind of shapes the way that I lead teams, but also what is a cognitively diverse team, and then kind of talking about diversity in New Zealand and the tech sector in particular, and then obviously talking about the use case, which is the team that I've been with for the last 4 years. And it's pretty close pronunciation. It is Te Pūkenga, which is also known as the New Zealand Institute of Skills and Technology. We are the world's 34th largest educational institute with 250,000 active learners. So thank you for the timer, because I'm really bad with timing. My team complain all the time that I'll just keep talking, so well done, team. So often you will hear me kind of talk about myself as a tech explainer, and that is because it's almost impossible to explain to people that don't do product what a product manager is. I'll give you a brief timeline in terms of who I am and how this kind of explains a lot of things. As mentioned, you can see I was born in Samoa. This is where half of the All Blacks are probably really from. And I mentioned that I'm 7 of 9, and not just because I am a Star Trek fan. It's a great character, but also I am one of 3 girls and 6 brothers. So this is really important, because it really tells you why I'm not bothered and why it's very easy for me to lead a room full of men. Because Samoan women, that is what we do all the time. As you'll kind of see in here, we moved to Samoa, to South Auckland and Central, and I say that because I have been told a couple of times I speak really good English for a person from South Auckland. Wasn't really aware that was a thing. We kind of mentioned here, this is the school motto for the all-girls school that I went to, so you can kind of see how it shapes how very fiercely independent I am, and I can think, and I will openly say, I believe women are better at tech. You can fight me on it outside, but it is the hill that I will die on. And the stay there means, in effect, from trials to triumph. And most of us in product will go through that kind of stress. Things will feel like hell, but you've got to keep closely focused on the vision in particular, and that's really what kind of drives you. Obviously, I went to the best university in New Zealand. Yes, yeah. And like most product people, I'm actually better because I didn't study a comp sci degree. I studied foreign policy, state-to-state negotiation, fundamentally relationships. Relationships matter, and they are the difference between getting something signed, getting something approved, and actually convincing your customers what you are offering as a digital service is of value. And then we can kind of see, this is my introduction to the technology space. Came down, got sick of the Wellington lot writing poor policy and implementing really bad tech for a person in the front line. So how I ended up in product is the technology lead got sick of me failing the business acceptance testing, and I recited to him at 270 plus an hour, "It is not my fault, your content asset library is flawed." So, excellence in the experience and making sure that the final product that gets out is what really pushed me in there. And then the next couple of stints is me going across. So unlike most of the room, the speakers beforehand, I've been in government, not-for-profit, back in government again, and in private. So it's a good kind of review of the places I've been. It really kind of shapes the way that I think about the things that we do, but it also gives you an indicator what drives me and why I come to work. Largely it is to do complex problem solving. If I wanted to do something simple, probably would have stayed working in a bank, making a lot of money. So just quickly show you through here, because we are more than the job title. The bunch of ladies over here, those are the same group of ladies that I've known since I was 13. It's fundamental for women, particularly in leadership roles, really to have a core group of women that support you and really push you towards the work that you're doing. If you are considering a career in tech or product and you want to talk to me, I'm always available online or in person. Please note, you may see in the top corner there, somebody wearing an ugly Waikato Chiefs beanie. That is my identical twin. I'm an Auckland Blues fan. She does live in Auckland, so please, if you do hit her up, she will know that it's not me. So the bottom there is about some of the work that I do, which was advising the New Zealand government on how to leverage technology to empower women and girls. That was at the UN, where of the 187 states, only 1/3 knew what ChatGPT was. That was March this year. And yet they were writing policy on big data, AI, ethics. It's really important that they know who the technology people are, and that us as a technology group, whether you're in product or in engineering, that you use plain English. Nobody understands what you're talking about in jargon. So I'm hoping that this next kind of slide works. It is a video. Yes. I'm going to see because I don't trust myself.
This man right here is my great-grandfather. He's the first cat herder in our family.
Herding cats. Don't let anybody tell you it's easy.
Anybody can herd cattle. Holding together 10,000 half-wild short hairs, well, that's another thing altogether.
Being a cat herder is probably about the toughest thing I think I've ever done.
I got this one this morning, right here, and if you look at his face, it's just ripped to shreds, you know?
You see the movies, you hear the stories, I'm living a dream. Not everyone can do what we do.
I wouldn't do nothing else.
It ain't an easy job, but when you bring a herd into town and you ain't lost a one of them, ain't a feeling like it in the world.
EDS, managing the complexities of the digital economy.
Right. So you're probably wondering, what the hell does a bunch of cowboys herding a bunch of cats have to do with product management? My job title for a period of time at the Department of Internal Affairs literally said cat herder. So yes, it's funny, but it's actually a reflection of a lot of the stakeholder management mahi you'll be involved in. It is sometimes fruitless, but also you'll see there's a pretty diverse group of people in there, and that's actually a Super Bowl ad from 2000. So it's still relevant to the work that you do every single day, and it's a good way to kind of remind us of where we're going. So today I'm going to be talking about 3 quick things, and I've got 23 minutes, so I believe I can get through it all. So I'll be talking about the state of affairs when it comes to diversity in technology and kind of why it really affects what we're doing, how this can actually improve our talent pipeline. And then we'll go through what cognitive diversity is, a lot of stuff on the slides, and then I'll hopefully spend most of my time talking about the Business Construction Industry Training Organisation, which is my home part of Te Pūkenga, and I've got one of my colleagues in here who's, you know, my Italian friend, and she's taught me a lot, so I'm hoping she'll accept me finally years later. Right, so if we think about, these are stats as most recent as last year, only 2.8% of the sector is Pasifika. So there's about 114,000 people noted as working in technology. And we've heard about the opportunity to really push forward and build that economy. And a lot of that actually comes from having diverse groups and your teams that you're working with. And 4% Māori. Now, if you consider that as of the last census, 15% of our population for New Zealand made up this 2 group here. How much money and innovation and value add are we missing purely because the room that we have are people that look and sound like what we are right now? So we have to remember, by 2030, more than 40% of New Zealand's population will be of Māori and Pasifika descent. If you want to serve the customer base that is coming, you need to make sure the team in your space is quite diverse. And in saying this, this is the percentage where people have declared they are neurodiverse. That is not the official number. Then we think of here, obviously, so I talk a lot about increasing the number of women in tech, and the reason for this is the following slide. Now, my twin did the numbers for this, so that's why it's slightly out, which is weird because she works at a bank. So in effect, it's actually at an extra 0. So 0.075 is the number of Pasifika women in tech. If you add leadership, you add another 0. So you can see here there's a massive opportunity for us to really leverage different perspectives, different ways of problem solving, and that is how we kind of progress to coming up with better solutions in a very complex environment. It allows us to really reflect and think about how we can evolve the product, whether the product is a particular service or just a way of working. So we'll just go quickly through in terms of this. So as kind of mentioned just a bit earlier, it is literally the difference in the way that you process information. This is actually shaped by the way in which you were raised. So I mentioned a bit earlier, I'm number 7 out of 9 children, 6 boys, and I'm an identical twin. So my family upbringing looked like you had to respond in a family meeting in chronological order. So if I'm child number 7, by the time I get to my point of view, it is, right, we're going to do this. I don't agree with that, and that, because I've already sat there for 45 minutes. And that flat structure of my upbringing and having brothers that believed in practicing their wrestling moves on me is part of the reason why I don't flip when I'm surrounded by a bunch of men. And I work in the, building construction is, again, mostly male. Technology, mostly male. I am not bothered by it, but that is unique to my upbringing. And so really, if you think about that, the purpose of why we're pushing for diversity, because it's not just gender, it's not just ethnicity. If it was as simple as that, then everyone would do it and everyone would be much more productive. And you'll hear about things as to diversity giving, improving the problem-solving capability. And you can see here it increases the innovation by about 20%, and that's a study done by the Harvard Business Review, and I didn't make that stat up. I just Google searched it, and that really kind of helped. And I'll go quickly through in terms of the time that we've got left to go over the things that we've done at BCITO/Te Pūkenga and the insights and lessons that's really helped in terms of pushing that across. Great. 3 key things that you want to think about, however, when you are thinking about this is it's not a visible thing. It's problem solving. Your upbringing, your cultural upbringing, where you were raised, how you were raised, that affects largely how you do problem solving, how you react to different variables coming at you left, right, and centre. Then there's things about how we recruit, which I'll talk a bit later on, which is if you only recruit people with an IT degree, you're not going to get a great team. You're going to get a bunch of people that know how to code in a particular way. The example that I often give is there is a reason that all the policies in Wellington come out the way that they do, because 70% of the graduates from the Victoria Uni School of Government end up in government policy jobs. So they write and think exactly the same as their lecturer. There is no innovation unless you force them to sit in front of an actual person, and I've done this to a bunch of policy grads, sit in front of an actual person that has to receive bad policy, because it shows them what it looks like when policy looks bad. There's a real person at the other side of the receiving end of that policy. Lastly, it's not bad to have a person in your team that disagrees all the time. It's actually really important to hear that difference of opinion. You really do need to ask them, and it's a phrase that I say often to my team, and as well as my business partners and my customers. That's our learners, and we have about 250,000 learners and 32,000 employees. I will literally say to our customers, you can tell me my baby is ugly, but you must tell me why. Like, is it the hideous outfit that I put on it? Was it the camera? Is there a smudge on the lens? We really want to have a think about what is it about the person resisting or objecting to your idea that is at the crux of the issue. Maybe they're really bad at communicating their particular perspective. It's our responsibility as leaders to get to know the person behind that, find out what their makeup is, where they were raised, and how they problem solve. Because often it is the delivery of their messaging and not necessarily the content. So I've had to learn personally myself, and my coworker Rosie will attest to this, not to be as direct. That is a nice way of saying not being blunt. So I don't really have a problem telling a bunch of developers, this code is shit, fix it. But I'm lucky in that I've got a bunch of colleagues like my coworker Rosie who will say, no, this is the team, you need to communicate better. So one of the key lessons is to be open and reflective about your own communication style and note what it is that your team needs, or your colleagues or your business partners that you're working with. How do they need to be communicated in order to receive and actively participate in the discussion or the design that you are doing? Otherwise, you're just building for your own ego. No one's going to buy that, and none of your executives will be happy. So I'm going to show you a double diamond, because if you've never worked in tech or product, this might be the first double diamond that you see in your life. I show this because I think of the examples of the multiple consultants that turn up in my office, and now we're in a government agency, so they're all Big Four turn up. And they will promise, which like most things, that the world is easy, it's just a double diamond away from innovation, expertise, the world will be fine. And one of the things that we really want to be realistic about is change and developing an organization or a team that is cognitively diverse. It's more like this. As leaders, we have had to focus intensively on this is what I want. So we think back that I don't want to continually be 0.07% of the technology sector. As a female Pasifika in tech, I do not want to continue to be 0.007% of the sector when it becomes labeling me as a leader in technology. So the things we thought about is, what the hell can we actually do? You know, it's not enough to complain about a lack of diversity. What is it that we can do? I wasn't happy with the definitions of diversity as like male, female. I was like, oh, heck no. That's not going to work. That's not diversity for me. And I thought about the 6 personalities of my brothers. And they're all very different. And I really just hope one day they'll grow up. Just so you know, my oldest brother's about 56, and I'm 40. I'm not that young. Please don't make the mistake. I have very jaded eyes, and you know that's how old I am based on that. So obviously everyone's put up a really cool model. I generally don't know what the model is until I come across it when I'm reading material. And oh, great, this actually explains what we've actually done. And what I've done is treated my team like a product. And I wanted a team that was diverse, a flat structure that thought differently, challenged the norm, and frankly didn't care that I was the product manager. So yeah, we talk about flat structure. You can tell me it's dumb. Tell me why. What's your solution? Do not come to me with, oh, I think this is wrong. Come to me with options. Option 1, 2, and 3. What's high value? What's low value? What's somewhere in the millions? And what I've basically done with the team, including working along with Rosie, is actually figure out what the hell does the market look like? How much does it cost to get a really innovative team? And it was blinking expensive in 2019, and 2023, it's still bloody expensive. Tech people are expensive, but if you invest in your own people, you can build the team that you want. It will take time, which is why this has been a 4-year transformation journey. And you've really got to focus on the strategy was to develop which I'll go through quickly, a work-based digital apprenticeship model. So it's hard to find good product people. You better train them up, or you better go find unicorns. That's really what it's going to be. And so we kind of started going into this. I'm going to quickly explain Te Pūkenga, because a lot of you may have never heard of this organization. We will be recruiting soon. This is why it's here, because my boss told me I had to pitch, so here I am. So as you can see, the focus of Te Pūkenga is learn anywhere, anytime. And this is leveraging the network of 25 former organizations merged into one. Because of that, we have a massive opportunity, which is how might you create a product organization? And we're lucky because our executive said, we want to be a product-driven organization. And I went, well, bloody hell, here I am. And part of it has been, thinking about how do we do that. Obviously, we want the best of the best. This doesn't happen by accident, and we've learned in the example I'll go through shortly with BCITO, it's hard work. You've got to keep focused on it, and you've got to identify the key personality traits that you want in your leadership team, as well as the candidates that you kind of bring in, because no one learns in a vacuum, and you need to kind of know what looks good and what can be better. Right, so work-based learning is where I'm from, which is traditionally covering apprenticeships. So your trainees, learning to be a plumber, an electrician, or a builder. And one of the things that we look at when it comes to work-based learning is leveraging the skill and experience that we have, sharing it with somebody that is new, and that is new to the industry. So not young, we mean new to the industry. So young in terms of experience. And what we do is focus on building that person. So our core values, we can kind of see here, bringing the person in, helping them learn and achieve together. And then we strengthen and build the entire person as well as our organisation. Now that's the core organisation values, but BCITO, we talk about we build people. And that is, yes, a double play on the fact that we train building apprenticeships. But it's also a commitment from our leadership team, including myself and Rosie, which is you don't need to be an A+ grad student from Auckland Uni, that would be nice, in computer science. The A+ is actually your willingness and curiosity about people, your willingness to learn, your commitment to collaborate. That is the type of person we're looking for. And I'll just go through quickly and explain. Work-based learning, basically, it's an apprenticeship. BCITO implemented a model by which we plucked a third of our team belong and started in our customer service call centre. We just went, would you like to learn how to work in the tech team? Our biggest issue to date has been people believe that people in technology are like the IT crowd, those weirdos in the corner typing away. They don't realise that they look normal like me. I mean, well, the pink hair is not normal, but we look pretty normal. We speak plain English. And so that's really kind of where we've pushed in terms of the model. So the key focus is to pair up a young person in terms of experience next to a person that is seasoned or experienced. And they learn side by side. They go through additional support and training, which could be off the job. And all the while, they are earning money while they learn. So this is a commitment from the organisation to the individual to build that individual and grow their capability and kind of build that out. So again, we'll go through this again. I'll skip it because I 7 minutes. Please note, I love bullet points. This is how I communicate to my entire organisation. There's about 450 former tradies, and they don't want to read a glossy comms pack because they help people build houses. So subject line, bullet points, and bold headings is what they get out of me, which is good because I love bullet points. So what we'll kind of go through quickly is the vision and strategy, and what you'll see is the PowerPoints to date, or so far, have been really nice and glossy. That's because my UX team got sick of me doing my PowerPoints and fixed it. You're about to see what it looks like when Norie doesn't have the UX team. You're starting here, and that's why it looks hideous. Yeah, not as good as the other ones. So what we focus on, this is from 2019, was working with our business to define what was digital. And at that stage, we had 2 CRMs, one on-prem, one Salesforce. We had on-prem integration, and we had heavy dependence on vendors who had not delivered anything in about 5 quarters. So I came in and said, oh, right, had a chat, did a landscape review and had a chat with the vendor and said, oh, look, you haven't actually delivered on any quarter. Also, you said you were really good at Agile, and you haven't given us any coaching or upskilling. We have people in our team that have not upskilled in the entire time you've been here, but we've paid through the nose. And we pushed towards being a people-focused team, and obviously thinking differently meant hiring differently and thinking about the job description. So keeping it simple, focusing in-house, telling our leadership team that we were going to build in-house, build the capability and wean ourselves off our reliance on technology partners. And if we needed a technology partner, that's what we would look for. We weren't going to work with vendors. So if I tell someone that they are a vendor, I do not like that application or that platform or that company. If I tell them that that's a technology partner, that means we have a relationship and where they can tell me this is dumb, Norie, you should try it that way. Okay, cool. How? And how much money? So we're going to just quickly look here in terms of this is about a third of this team. You'll see the diversity in here includes seniors that are like senior in age. It's like, you know, late 50s. Our youngest is, I think at the time was 21. So what we have is a couple of examples I'll go through quickly. This gentleman on the left here is my favorite, and my product owner hates me for it because he's not in product. So the reason he's my favorite is he is neurodiverse. And I spend a lot of time coaching him on how to present so that he doesn't just say I did 40 tickets in a regular mandated demo. And he went from just a slide that said I did 40 tickets to right, let's talk to each other about storytelling to give our colleagues context, to reproducing the same kind of information the next time to say, these 40 tickets took me 160 hours. Please stop doing this because this is how much time it costs me in fixing and data cleansing. He is a system analyst and he loves numbers. So we let him data mine all day. You know, leverage the skill that we have. This is Bill. That's an engineer that came and did some experience with us and was that wicked smart that he built an automated Python script so that he could learn Salesforce on the side. He left us and got poached by a consulting firm, and he is now a data architect. And one of the key things that we talk about is it's actually a cool thing for us when our staff get poached. We just want to make sure that they're being poached for the right reason, that it's the right job and the right progression for them. And we always say to the team when they leave, most of the time, unless they're like a bad egg, that we're happy that they're going. And then we do a really good reference check, you know, because we pass that on. We all do this. And, you know, he was really good. He's come back to help us and really consult and to make sure that the CRM is structured in a way that's helpful, scalable, and is a sustainable level of development. And the last one I can't remember, he's way in the back there with the hat flipped around. That is my junior. He came in as 22, and I have to keep reminding myself he is only now 24. And basically I put him on a 13-month accelerated digital apprenticeship as a product owner. Every month he had to do a technical skill, might be learning how to use Power BI, SQL, and a very human skill, storytelling, how to do roadmaps, those kinds of things that are very hard to learn in the product space. And that meant after 13 months, I could walk away from doing future state for Te Pūkenga to leaving him to handle the CRM. And at 24, I don't blink. The only thing I tell him is to get a life, finish on time, and stop living at work because no one's going to reward him extra for it. So, yeah, I'm very direct. Like, I don't know how he survived. So if we think about this, that's the real focus of what we've kind of driven to. We've gone from a deployment, a team that had no exposure to Agile, to doing ceremonies. That's why you have talented individuals like my colleague Rosie to teach Agile culture and really push that kind of change. And we went from 2 CRMs to 1 CRM. I said to the team 1 year, I'm not paying 2 sets of license agreements. You have until September to build 32 technical messages to a government agency. I will not renew. I've already signaled. And the team, because they're flat and kind of harass each other and, you know, egg each other on, they actually got to the point where they delivered. They're like, you know, they did it for each other, not for me. It was nice, but not for me. They did it for each other to prove they could do it, to prove they had the skill and experience and collaboration to get across the line. Now, I'll just go through. The reality is, the reason we did this is we wanted cross-functional teams. Cross-functional teams mean that you have to work in a collaborative manner to listen to your colleagues. Learn to listen, don't put your ego in the front, get over it when they tell you it's dumb, stupid and ugly, and move on to why. And then you kind of progress from there. What I'll kind of finish with is, this is our leadership team in 22. You will notice that there's only 2 males. This is rare in New Zealand. What I'll tell you gladly is the jostling and arguing that we have as a group allows us to really lead quite well and open pathways for our teams as well as our organisation to exceed and do well. And we have gone from manual deployment, which was about 4 to 5 hours, automated deployment, which takes 5 minutes, 15 functions in 5 minutes. So that's the level of innovation you can push because you have a dynamic. The last bit I'll probably end with is it's now only female. We chucked out the men. They got promotions. So they got promotions. They're now living their best lives. And we've got a great team. So the only thing I'll finally wrap up is there's a Pacifica group meeting, 6 p.m. tonight because I'm lazy. If you want to come see me, come see me. That was it.